Hi, Zoomers.
Hey. All right. We're live. Are we good?
I'm alive.
We're ready.
Hold on, let me check.
Hello. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I feel like I start these every time. So you guys could choose to be anywhere in the world right now, and you are here with us, and that is awesome. We are going to have an amazing hour. Just so you know, because you haven't watched these or seen these. So our audience is the folks in this room. It's the folks on Zoom, but then we put this on YouTube, so this lives forever. And so we are going to impact thousands of people over time. So this is kind of a huge deal. So I always tell people, I don't care if there's 2 people in the room or 202 or whatever, this is going to be a good experience.
Rock and roll.
So we were emailing yesterday, and I said to Robin, so I had the pleasure of hiring you to Keller Williams, like literally, how many years ago? 12? Well, no, it's 2020. No.
2010, 11.
2011.
12.
Yeah, so 12 years ago. And in my email yesterday, I said, we have not had a conversation in literally 10 years of in-depth. I mean, maybe I'll see you at events, be like, hey, you know, whatever, but we haven't talked in 10 years. So this is going to be really, really fun. You know, we've been promoting this quite a bit in our team meetings. John shared what an impact, Robin, you made in some leadership training you did. Which obviously I missed, but I heard was
You were
awesome.
invited, you didn't miss it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I wasn't invited. Which is great.
Reality strikes.
So, you know, and I looked up your production, and I mean, it just seems amazing how far you've grown. And I'm excited to just kind of hear your journey, because literally we haven't caught up in 10 years. So
Here for it.
love it. So if you haven't ever been to these are very interactive too. It's very casual. If you have questions, you know, we're going to literally spend the hour just peppering her with questions and listening and learning. And just, you know, I'm going to take a ton of notes because I do this selfishly to learn. So, so just share with us a little bit about you, your journey into real estate, family, team, whatever you want to share.
Okay. I will start with my actual self because that's more important than my realtor self. So my actual self, I am married. We've been married 16, 17 years. I have 2 boys who are 8 and 10. We travel a ton, so that's super important to me. Adventure is one of my, not just travel, specifically adventure. Like there needs to be a risk of getting lost or hurt or both, and then it gets really fun for me. Like when there is some risk, it gets fun. So, and we travel with our kids that way. So that's kind of my personal, and the business has always been a vehicle to live that life and to do what I want over here. I am 100% driven by audacious goal in my life. So if I have some crazy audacious goal in my life, then I'll work really hard in my business to make that happen. And my business, so I've been licensed since 2010, moved to KW at 2011. And then my right hand looks like it's here, but she's actually sitting right there. This is Kelly. She's my assistant and is literally could not do anything nearly as gracefully. So it would be messy and ugly and unfun. I do everything with Kelly. We've been working together for about 5 years. 5 years. Does that feel helpful? We sell houses. You know our production. What you got?
Do you want to share that? You don't have to.
Well, that's fine. I don't know. I feel like last year we closed between 40 and 50 properties.
Yep. So 466,000 in GCI, 17.1 million in volume, 40 units, ranked 151st in our region.
There you go. That's the production.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which is great. Yeah. There. Also, I don't do details well. I am big on vision and I'm big on ideas. And I have an iDaughter T-crosser and a Perry for detail.
So one of the things I joked about when we promoted this is you absolutely have the best penmanship of anyone I've ever met in my entire life.
For real?
Yeah. I mean, literally, if you look, am I right? seriously, it is freaky good when you write stuff. I'm like, I just want you to come write everything for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
So for you to not do details, that seems weird for how amazingly neat your pen.
I went to art school for that. Yeah, oh yeah. Also, we should say I'm a fine art and English major with poetry, and my minor is outdoor study. So like outdoor recreating, poetry, fine art, super applicable. Actually, my fine art is very applicable in our business.
There you go. So, and I know I gave you a list of questions. I feel like we may or may not touch any of them, but I feel like already, 3 minutes into this, tell us about driven by audacious goals in my life.
Okay. I had a goal and I wanted to go to India. And so we did with a 3 and a 5-year-old for an entire month. And we just took off and we traveled and figured that out. And most people would be like, oh, you want to go to India? That's crazy on its own. Oh my God, you have a 3 and a 5-year-old. You are absolutely insane. Right? And I was like, let's go.
And is Aaron like, what the heck are you thinking? Or he's like, okay, Robin, let's do it.
Aaron is like, okay. I think he's not immediately like, yeah, great idea. But he's like, sure, why not? And I appreciate that about him. So that was one goal. I had a goal.
Wait, can we? I feel like we need to dive into this a little more. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're like, hey, let's go to India. And then what? Like you thought this, and then like, what did that look like? I mean, we went for a month.
Yeah, it looked like putting it on my 411 the beginning of the year. And it looked like, okay, the first month, get the dates on the calendar. Second month, get the flights figured out. Third month is, figure out hotels. So when we travel, we figure out physically what cities we'll be in, or not cities, towns, like just physically where we'll be, and then where we'll sleep. And we figure nothing else out ahead of time. So there's no like tour or planned anything. So on this India trip, we flew to Delhi, and because we had a 3 and a 5-year-old, we decided that the first 3 nights were going to be in a really nice hotel so that we could kind of like ease on, like have a gentle on-ramp to the chaos of India. It was a really great idea. And we stayed at the fanciest hotel I'd ever stayed at. It was about $120 a night. And it was fancier than any Four Seasons. I mean, it was so fancy, uncomfortably fancy. And we stayed there for 3 nights while we dealt with our jet lag, because it's exactly 12 hours opposite. And we did that for a few days. And then we hired, this is the only time we've hired guides. We hired guides, mountain guides, to bring us camping in the Himalayas. So we went up into the mountains and woke up at 14,000 feet with mountains where there should be clouds above us. It was incredible. With a 3 and a 5-year-old, the whole thing. So we're out doing that, and then we do more India. Anyway, we were there for a month. It was amazing.
And your husband has a job that he can take off a month?
Yeah, fair question. My husband is a full-time real estate investor, so he either buys properties and renovates them, sells them, which most people would just say is flipping, but that has a connotation of being done really poorly. And I would say he actually renovates and restores properties. So he does that, or he looks for opportunities to build our rental portfolio. So he's flexible. I am less flexible. The machine of our business is harder to leave than the machine of his.
And who took care of your business while you were gone?
At that time, I had a brand new agent I had brought onto the team. So I had a buyer's agent that had been with the team for about 3 weeks. I was like, see you later.
Well, it was 5 years ago. So were you here yet, or this was?
So I met Robin just before she left. She's like, I'm going to India, but I want you to start when I get back. So like when she got back, I joined.
Why India?
Not. Because you know why? Here's why. Because I want all the people and the smells and the chaos and the loudness and the smell of the spices mixed with the smell of a cow mixed with, I wanted that like really intense experience of humanity And I also wanted to be somewhere that is a marriage and blend of so many different cultures and religions. And it just felt like a really saturated humanity experience. That's what I wanted. Wanted all the things.
Wow. So this was the first big audacious goal?
I feel like that was the one that got him started. Yeah. After that, we also went to Mexico with them. This was before that. We took them to Mexico for 2 weeks, and I'm a real estate agent. I just didn't bring my phone at all. Just straight up didn't. I left it in a closet at our house. And I could tell you all sorts of fun stories that go with that one. But we like adventure. I'll share this story. We like adventure, and so because I didn't have a phone, I printed out all the Airbnbs that we were staying at. And this one town that we were going to, the only way to access this town is by boat. And we couldn't catch a boat. So finally I had to bribe somebody to give us a boat ride before dark with a baby. I'm like, I have a baby strapped to me. And I finally like bribed somebody to bring us to this town. And then they drop us off on the beach at the town. And I was like, okay, I have this piece of paper and it says we need to find Josuelo. We start asking people, do you know Josuelo? Finally, we end up in our place. It was fine. But, it was starting to get dark. We really had no idea where we were. It's cool. So that's where I feel like I want that sort of thing. So we did India. We did that Mexico trip. I had a goal of taking our boys out of school for a year and homeschooling them and doing a road trip. We did that in 2020 for 6 months. I didn't get a full year, but we got 6 months, lived on the road and homeschooled them. And we did Ecuador last summer, and we're going to Turkey this summer.
And did your family grow up this way? Is this why you like adventure, or
No.
what made you start?
We used to go to museums. Very adventurous. Art museum. That's it.
But I mean, did you travel without children before?
So I have a background. I personally am very adventurous and always have been. And prior to children, we did travel a decent amount. A lot of our travel was like mountaineering and rock climbing and things like that.
I just can't see somebody going out of the country with their children if they've never been out of the country before. So
that was
why I
Aaron's
wondered.
first international trip to India. His very first, besides like going to Mexico to Cancun, his first like I'm going across an ocean was to go to India with a 3 and a 5. Yeah, gotta give him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm imagining that flight even with a 3 to 5 year old.
Here's the deal. Living with a 3 and a 5-year-old is hard at home if you never leave. So yeah, it's gonna be hard on a flight across the ocean too.
Either they're crying at home or they're crying in an airplane or.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's more fun on a traveling adventure.
Yeah, at least you're
because
somewhere
you
else.
have other people.
There you go.
Kids are hard. They're hard wherever you
I
put
have
them.
5. If I look tired, it's because I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what I'm driven by. I'm driven by get out of town and go see the world.
It's amazing.
What's your favorite place you've been?
Whew.
Okay.
Yeah, the car show in Anoka was so fun. So fun.
Oh, we could.
Yeah. Okay, so I love Death Valley. Love Death Valley. It's gotten ravaged by rain actually recently, but I love Death Valley. There is an area of Ecuador where I'm currently shopping for property because I would move there tomorrow. It's so beautiful. And I loved with my whole heart and soul India. And I want to go back more than I ever wanted to go the first time. It's really intense though. I don't, you know what? I'm gonna tell you the favorite place in India was the food guy stall of food outside of the Wind Palace in Jaipur. And he made these fried balls with green sauce that he served on a piece of newspaper. And it was the best food I've ever had in my entire life. And 10 cents. That spot and that guy, my favorite spot in India. The newspaper fry ball guy.
Have you been to Japan?
Not yet. I would. So, big list.
Joe's-
All right, Joe.
Joe's the mayor.
She hasn't, I know you haven't.
Um,
Have you been the mayor?
I feel like you and Aaron should be on like what's that show, The Great American Race or something?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
The Amazing Race?
Yeah.
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 It's on TV. You don't watch that.
That's fine. Let's, I mean, we could just talk about travel forever, the whole time, but let's,
Where's this realtor? She doesn't actually work.
well, so you said your business funds this life that you want, which
Yeah.
sounds pretty credible. In 18 minutes in, I'm blown away. Tell us about your business. What does that look like? Why do people do business with you? What systems do you have? Just, share with these guys how you've done this, while living a great life.
So I would say that here's the system, here's the business model. One person comes into our orbit and we are going to knock their socks off during the transaction in every direction. And we are going to stay in touch with them, not just like, I do have a referral, but like, hey, I was thinking about you. I just drove by, like I just made a call this morning and it was literally, hey, do you remember that one house we saw together and you couldn't believe the price and the basement smelled like this and this happened and this happened? Well, I just drove by that house, so I thought of you. Like, hope you're having an awesome day. Right? So having meaningful, authentic connections with people, and we just love the heck out of them. So I need one person and we will knock their socks off from a transaction standpoint. And the easiest way to do that is just to run towards their discomfort. Any place that they are feeling, even if they hesitate or they pause, you dig into that pause and you figure out what's going on. Like you just see them as full authentic humans, love them as full authentic humans. The real estate, I guess I'm a very good negotiator and I'm a right-hand gal who can take care of the paperwork. So we're just going to knock their socks off and then we're going to stay in touch with them and we're going to love them. And that's the business plan. In fact, that has been the entirety of the business plan for the entire time I've been in business. And just as of when? February, family reunion, we're like, oh, we should maybe like try to get new people who we've never met. We're going to try that soon sometime. We're working on that. But our business is to just love the people we have and the referrals just come.
So how do you love them?
Okay.
Besides the calls, because that's an awesome idea. Like what else?
Yep. Okay. So I call them. If you look at my calendar, the amount of coffee dates that I have with these people, it's absurd. Like my part-time job is just going out to coffee. And I just like, hey, let me treat you out to coffee. Like, and we just catch up and then I hear what's going on with their life. So I physically see people a lot. I have a goal to really never eat lunch alone. So take people out to lunch, take them out to coffee. I don't rent an office because I use the rent money to just take people out to lunch.
Sorry to interrupt. What if you're like an introvert in a way, needing to kind of break that in terms of connecting with people? How do you
You
do
got to
it?
connect however you're going to connect. Yeah, like if you're not comfortable doing that, then figure out a way you are comfortable connecting. But ultimately, I feel like it's a contact sport, and I just want to be in front of my people as much as possible. So I have coffee, I have lunch with them. So I actually had Kelly bring some of our snail mail. It's like my love language is an actual handwritten letter in the mail. And so they get birthday cards, house anniversary cards, your dog died. We have this amazing, here's a system. I'm scrolling through Facebook and somebody's dog died. I take a screenshot and I email it to Kelly. And the next week there's a card on my desk that is stamped and addressed and has a post-it on it and it says their dog Rover died. And I write a handwritten note that says, I'm so sorry Rover died. That's the hardest thing ever. I'm thinking of you. So I take what's happening on Facebook and I like bring it into the real world. So they are holding a thing. It's like, wow, Robin like wrote me, like took the time to do this. And it's systematized. So that all I have to do is say, this happened. Here's a thing in real life.
You log it in Command or whatever
Yep.
you use.
So Kelly puts it in Command, updates it. There's a note in there. I get the card, I write it out.
Do we want to look at some of those pieces you talked about? Is
Yeah,
that fun, or-
I can just pass them around. So then they get a handwritten birthday card, their kids have a birthday, their house anniversary, their dog dies, their grandma dies, like, they have a baby. We're interacting with that a ton, both like, so we're pulling information from Facebook and Instagram, and we're loving them in real life, either calling or texting or mailing them a card. And then that's like the personal stuff to them. And then I can pass around like our marketing, for lack of a better word.
How many Mets are we talking about that we love?
600, more or less. So this group of 600 is the business. And it grows slowly and steadily, but like, so I'll just show you, this is from the last few years. These are all of our marketing pieces. And so this is you can see my penmanship, which apparently is enviable. And you can see as you look at these, that these are as authentic. You cannot mistake this for anybody else at all, actually. And when I go to clients' houses, they often have these marketing pieces on their fridge.
Awesome.
Hang on, so they can just get passed around. And that is where my art school background comes in. I do all of the design work for all of those. And that's all that's like a peek into the inside of my brain.
Obviously I'll see them when you get passed around, but are those mostly postcards, or they're cards, or both, or?
So there's postcards for the anniversary, or like you sold your house. There's postcards for like Happy New Year. That's this one that here, I'll just show you. We're gonna do these all at once, and then you can save up. So sorry, I'm just gonna undo. Okay. So this one is from The Wizard of Oz, The Great Oz, and it says, "There's no place like home, thinking of you as we celebrate," and then it's blank, your blank year house anniversary. So Kelly, in command, fills this out. It's like 4 years, and she fills out who it's to, and it will say 4-year house anniversary, and then I write a note right here. And it gets sent to me.
Yeah.
So that's the house anniversary. This is one. Do you remember when we worked together to get your house sold? That was fun. Thinking of you. Time flies. Hard to believe it's been blank years since we sold your house together.
Do you have a local printer, or?
I don't know.
Do you have a local printer?
Print.
Got print?
Print.com.
Got it.
Super fancy. Okay. You know what rocks? Having a home you love. Thinking of you as we celebrate blank. So this is a couple years worth of house anniversaries. Here's our new one. It's Mad Libs. And on the back, it's like, "Dear blank, we are so adjective to write you a noun. Can you believe it's been blank years?" So it's like a Mad Libs sort of thing.
Hilarious. There's nothing funnier.
What was that?
There's nothing funnier, like those are off.
Anyway, it's like just nonsense. Okay. This is one of my personal favorites. Valentine's. Have you guys seen The Princess Bride?
I have never seen it.
Oh, years ago.
What?
With Andre the Giant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, so this was our Valentine's Day card, and it says, "Valentine's Day is what brings us together today." And then on the inside, it's the 3 dangers of the fire swamp real estate market, which are spurting inventory, lightning decision-making, and offers of unusual size. If you've seen the movie, this would be really funny. It says, "Happy Valentine's Day from the Voreis team. Our love for you is true love. We will always protect you, even when the housing market is like the fire swamp. Grateful to be your real estate Wesley." Wesley is the Prince Charming. Anyway, like that's our Valentine's Day card. This year's Valentine's is
I'm sorry.
$500 thing. Okay, so this year's Valentine's is like a cheesy romance novel. This was on our 11-year anniversary, Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11.
Goes to 11, yes.
Yep.
Love that.
So that's and for this one, we had 3 places that we were going to make a donation instead of throwing a party, because this was during COVID. So instead of throwing a party, we said we're going to donate to one of these 3 causes. You vote on what you want.
Sweet.
And we donated to that. And this is I write a gratitude letter every fall. This is my gratitude letter. It's a mixtape.
That's cool.
And there's a QR code with an actual Spotify list of
So,
music.
so on Godprint, there's like templates, or you like literally you created all these?
I literally create all of these. There is no template in our world.
That is
There's no
amazing.
template. This is the inside of my head. This Valentine,
Love it.
and I'll pass these around. Okay, this Valentine came with this postcard in it, which says, "I just wrote this postcard to say I love you." It's from Stevie Wonder. Okay, and so this is the album cover, and I edited it to say I wrote this postcard. And in here it says we want to just magnify the love. So this came like this, and these were stamped for people already, and they could address these to people that they wanted to send love to. And in super small writing, if somebody saw it, it said the Voreis team believes in spreading joy far and wide, and they could look us up on Instagram. That's it. It was really about our clients just like sending a piece of mail to somebody else.
And so just mechanically speaking, this is your brain on paper. She executes it and says, this is going out to 600 people, you
Mhm.
know, at the various time.
Yeah, I design and Kelly sends
You hand sign each one.
out those. I sign the like birthday cards and the house anniversary cards, but we do a fall gratitude letter, a Valentine. And we have Mother's Day postcards this year. It's great. It looks like a tattoo of mother. So yeah,
Wow.
the like marketing pieces, we don't hand sign. The individual, like, oh, we also send anniversary cards. So those all get hand signed. That is it. That is our number one. You know, people are like, find your lover and jump on your lover. That's our lever, is snail mail. We are very, very good at snail mail, but not like just sold postcards.
Yeah. That's very you.
Very neat.
Any events or any other stuff like that, or no? Is it just all that?
We do donut day, where we buy a bunch of donuts and people can meet us at the park and eat donuts in the sunshine. And we do taco day, which is October 10th, 4th. October 4th is taco day. And we have done that in various iterations. And I think we have landed on the simplest one, which is camp out at Taqueria La Hacienda on Lake Street and 4th. And we give them a credit card. And then our clients come up to me and they say, hey, it's good to see you. I'm like, it's awesome to see you too. Here's a Post-it. Go up to the counter, and if you have the blue Post-it, then they'll pay for your dinner. And then they just ring my credit card. We don't throw an event. It's just like, come eat tacos with us.
Yeah.
We have simplified that a lot.
So you have it at a park? You said you had a park?
We do donuts at a park. Yeah. And we've done donuts at a donut store before. Donuts, we just figured out. Here's the deal. I'm going to be really honest. People don't come to events. At least our events. People don't come, right? We'll get 5 dozen donuts and then we just bring them home to our kids and get them all sugared up. Like there's nobody, people don't come to these events. And so the value in the event is saying like, hey, we're having an event. Hey, we're having an event. Hey, we're having an event. We're like, hey, nice to see you 3 people. We're very happy to see these 3 people. And then it's thanks to everyone who came out for the event. Like it's just
The people who come to the restaurant though, when you're having this event.
yeah, we sit down and
you
eat
end up-
dinner.
No, but I mean, people
Oh.
that don't know you that come to the restaurant to eat that day, do you end up talking to them and getting them to become your
Like
client?
random people?
Yeah.
No, generally not.
Okay.
No, we're too busy loving our people.
Yeah.
Right. So we did a client appreciation barbecue. Oh my God, what a tremendous amount of work. Never again. I was talked into it and I'm willing to try everything once. No more client appreciation barbecues. There you go.
What did you like about it?
It was a tremendous amount of money and setup and work and headache, and people came. But do you want to know the real honest truth is that I wouldn't get an invitation from my realtor and be like, oh, I feel like spending a beautiful June day with my realtor. I can't think that's a good idea. And so it's just, We did have a decent number of people come, but most of them were like my family, and there was like a few random clients.
Mhm.
And it was so much money and so much effort and so much planning and just not worth it. So I'm just moving to my love language, tacos and donuts and mail.
How often do you plan out this event?
Well, Donut Day is in June and Taco Day is in October. And then they get a gratitude mailer in the fall and a Valentine in February. And we have a newsletter and we do other things too, but I feel like this is the thing that really differentiates us is when, like, I'll walk into people's houses and they have those from like multiple years old. They'll have them on their fridge. They just keep them.
So you really can't just do one of these. You have to do all of these.
Well,
What do you mean by
she-
that?
Something's better than nothing.
I understand that.
But I have been snail mail loving my database for 10 years. Like this is the way I know how to love people.
Yeah.
So if you know how to love people differently, if you're a party thrower and you throw barbecues in the summer and you think that's awesome, do that. That's not my jam.
What does run towards their discomfort mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's dive into that a little bit, because that seems like an interesting sentence.
Okay. So in a transaction, let's say you're working with the sellers and everything's going along smoothly and all of a sudden they just start delaying their responses to you and like things like it's almost imperceptible, but like something is different. Rather than pretending that difference isn't there, that's where I pick up the phone call and I check in with them personally. And if I can't get to the bottom of it, I'm gonna like understand what that is. Is that your cat just died? Is that the transaction? Where is your and a lot of times I'm not doing that in a confrontational or aggressive way. A lot of times I'm doing it in like a, hey, like I'm just checking in on this. And then if there's a thing I have in my head, I'll be like, oh, did you see that email from the title company? Did that time work for you for closing? Like whatever it is, until I know that I leave that conversation with it prepared, whatever it was. And it might just be that they feel seen and heard. But so any discomfort, or one of my least favorite things is when a client calls me after closing. It's like, hey, there's a problem. I'm always like, then I'm like, actually, this is the time where I get to show my real value and shine and say, I'm so glad you called me. I'm gonna fix this. And so it's being able to show up in the crunchies. Does that answer your question?
My least favorite things.
That is a good quote.
Of your 600 contacts, do you focus in on more of, let's say, 300, or do you really hard focus on all 600?
Kelly?
We use Command and our server, once someone has their transaction they close, they are automatically labeled as people we love. Everyone who's labeled people we love them. Like nonstop. They get the mail, they get the favorite, unfavorite follow-ups, kind of thing. Focus on the people we love and we nurture the other. But they become a person.
But that 600, like I try to Facebook or Instagram follow people. So that's a way to stay in touch with them, even if I'm not talking, but I try to take it out of Facebook, Instagram. So I'll see something happen and then I'm like, oh my God, you had a baby. Like, can I bring you a meal? I won't even have to talk to you. I don't have to see you. You don't have to open the door. Can I just drop off a thing of lasagna? Nobody says no to that. It shows that I care. It shows that I actually know what you need when you have a new baby. You don't need to see a realtor. You need lasagna.
Are you making that yourself?
Let's be honest. Who's dealing with the lasagna in this situation?
I'm calling somebody and having it delivered
Yeah.
to the house. Well, they're still in the hospital, so they get home and there's a lasagna there when they get home.
And we're buying that from somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know where. You figure it out.
You
No,
can even
like-
do shipped.
Or you just send a lasagna. Or whatever. But the point is that I'm going to text and be a real human and be like, oh my gosh, baby, so excited. Can't wait to meet them. Not now. You're tired. Lasagna. And they're like, Robin's awesome. And they eat the lasagna and they're like, Robin's awesome. I'm so tired. And then when the kid's like 3, I'll meet the kid. Oh,
Send them a birthday card.
kids get birthday cards ready. How awesome is Kelly Belly? She is the raddest. The kid birthday cards come with stickers in them. So the kid opens the card. Not only are they getting snail mail, but stickers inside.
And is that one you created too? Is that in the file?
There is so we had one of our clients actually is a artist, and we had her design our birthday cards, and it's the disco one in there.
So they're in command as a note, or they're a contact, or they're a additional relationship in command, and then their birthday pops up and you have them on a smart plan?
Not the kids. They're under 18. They're just in, we created like another label. So all the kids and their birthdays are connected to their parents. So
Yep.
the parents are in command and then the kids are just in there. But whenever I add a kid, I have a spreadsheet with all the cards that we send. We send like 30 a week. So I just have a spreadsheet and they go into command, they automatically go on that spreadsheet.
So you have like all the Januaries in like, here's the whole thing.
And the way it shows up to me, this is the thing that I feel like is our most well-oiled machine. It's so beautiful. I get every Friday a stack of cards at my house. My job for the week is to make sure they hit the mail by the next Friday. Just every week, stack of cards.
I had a goal of sending 40 cards a month last year, and by March I was like, I'm sick of these cards. You know, it's hard. I mean, that's a hard thing to keep up on. And if you have a system where she's just handing them to you and you're spending a couple hours a week writing cards, I mean, that's lead gen right there.
Yeah, totally. It is our lever. Yep. And you may or may not be able to tell by looking at that. I also really enjoy designing the marketing piece. Go out like it's just like
You're unique.
yeah. You ever see anything else like that from a realtor? Ever? No.
So we have, that clock's wrong. I'm going by my clock. We have 20 minutes left. One of the things I want to make sure we do is, in an effort to pour as much value into you guys as possible, what do you want to make sure we cover? And I realize that's an open-ended question. I have a ton of questions I want to ask you, but like, is there anything you want to make sure, again, John tells me you're a huge thinker. I text Jake asking a little bit about you, since we haven't connected in 10 years. What else are we wanting to make sure we cover that you can think of?
Well, I feel like there's a million things. Oh, how about failures?
Yeah.
I have, okay, so a side thing is I am big, I'm sure you got this, I have a big thinking streak to me, which is like, let's pull some astronomical crazy thing off. And it very rarely is related to business and like, I should sell 5,000 houses. Like that doesn't do anything for me. But it's like, what would it look like if I lived in Ecuador for a year with my kids? That sort of big thinking in my life. And then that drives my business. One of the things that.
Is that the goal for Ecuador, a year?
Más o menos.
Yes. Sorry.
She said to live there.
Yeah. So here's the reason there's not a goal yet is because I haven't decided, would I want to live in one place and dig in and build community, or would I want to live out of a van and see all of South America for a year? I'll say. Anyway, I think I'll share this, and Kelly knows this. The Voreis team has been a bit of a revolving door for buyer's agents, before Kelly assistants. I think the 2 years before I hired Kelly, I hired, trained, and fired like 7 other people the 2 years before I met Kelly. Like I have super high standards and I'm really willing to give people a chance. And then if they don't meet that chance, then I'm like, you're off the boat. So that has been an ongoing long-term challenge. Side note, so grateful for Kelly.
So what
And how
was,
did you meet her?
My husband bought her mom's house.
And you knew she wanted to.
Aaron, my husband, was like, she's awesome, and somehow got your resume.
I showed up to all the meetings with my mom
Hmm.
and Aaron with like my notebook and my pen, and I took notes and I had all this stuff, and he's like, my wife could use someone like you. And he's like, do you mind if I give you, connect you to it? Like, yeah.
And at the time, I had another assistant that was not working out. So it was months later that I just randomly called Kelly in the middle of a work day. She was at her other job, and it's like, hey, you want a job? Or you want to talk? Anyway,
So is it, if he's an investor, it's you, is there anybody else? Do we have any other people besides?
right now it's Kelly and I, and Caitlin is joining the team. She's working on finishing up her licensure right now, and she'll be jumping on mid-May as an agent. I have had other agents in the past. We had a social media person recently come and go. I'll just say like that has been a long-term challenge, with the exception of Kelly. It's just like I can generate more business than I can service because I have a high standard of living. I'm not willing to sacrifice my life for business.
When you,
so what are some of the things that you terminate people? And the only reason why I ask is, when I get to this point, I'm going to, I want to look for the qualities that are good and some of the things that raise alarms. What are some of the things that you terminate somebody for?
Not keeping their word. You tell me you're going to email me at 5 o'clock, you email me at 5 o'clock. I have a very, very strong accountability muscle. And if somebody isn't willing to do what they say they're going to do, I just can't hang. And I lose respect, frankly, really fast with that. So that's one, is not doing what they say they're going to do. And the other one is if they are finger pointers, blame, if they aren't willing to take responsibility. So if they're willing to blame the market or this, or like, I couldn't do it because of I'm just like, You can just own, if you can't do something, own it, take responsibility and fix it and figure out how to do it. So it's, I think, a lack of taking responsibility and a lack of accountability are the things that I just can't, I don't have patience for. I have patience for a lot of mistakes, a lot of failure. I'm totally comfortable with all of that. I just am not comfortable with lack of accountability or ownership.
when you've struggled to find your motivation or work through challenges, how do you do that?
I have a vision board and it sits right above my desk. And it has pictures of the life I want to live on it. And so when I'm frustrated, I'm just like, that's why I'm doing it. And I have a wooden desk at home, and I carved into my desk with a wood burner, remember who you work for. And it's not my clients. Family. Secret. Maybe that didn't come, maybe you didn't get that right away. It's I don't work for Keller Williams. I don't work for Gary Keller. I don't, I work for opportunities and for my family. And so I have that literally right under where my wrist goes for my mouse every day. And I have a vision board directly above my monitors. And so when stuff starts to suck, I just look up. Okay.
So that's pretty cool. So did you buy like a branding iron? What did you do?
No, it's just, you get it at a craft store. It's just a wood burning tool. You can carve whatever you want.
I have one if you need to borrow it.
Yeah, I'll need
I
to
do
buy
too, turns out, yeah. There's wood burning tools. Oh, here's a fun side note. So in another iteration of a system that totally sucked, speaking of failure, we, Kelly, used to hand burn the address of the property that a buyer was closing on onto the handle of a hammer. So we would give them like a customized hammer with like so much love. And Kelly's like, I can't handle, my wrist can't handle this anymore. And like, and she's like, I have to go buy more hammers. Like, it was just the stupidest thing ever. Very kind. We've given that up.
Very clever
That's
though.
cool.
Yeah, if you have 5 closings a year, it's a super great idea. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
good at scale.
Said you're good at negotiations.
I am good at
In this
negotiation.
Crazy market right now that we're in, what do
Mm-hmm.
you think your best negotiation tool is?
It is to make people believe and see that things are in their, to make them understand what's in their actual best interest so that they decide to do what's in their best interest. And I think it's to give perspective. And the number one negotiation that we do is not with the other party, it's with our clients. And so really framing their choices in a way that points out to them where things are going to benefit them so that they can decide to walk it out. And they're like, I'm doing this. Good idea.
And do you ever feel badly though, if a house isn't in multiple offers and you have them right above because you thought it was? Like agents aren't getting back to you, so you don't necessarily know where you stand.
I tell my clients that they should only write an offer that they are happy to get it
Yeah.
and happy to lose it.
Okay.
And so if they get it, they should be happy because we wrote an offer that they're happy with. And if they lose it, they should be happy because they weren't willing to do any more. So whether or not anybody else is on the table doesn't matter.
Write that down. Happy to get it, happy to lose it.
Yeah. And that is something that I have a conversation, every one of my clients. Yep. On the buy side. That when I'm like, okay, those were the terms, this is what we're doing. And I just refresh it. And I say, this is, you'll be happy to lose it and happy to get it. Yep. Right. And it doesn't matter what the outcome is.
Any other market strategies you want to talk about that are working for you?
Do as much off market as you can right now.
And what does that look like in your world?
Well, at our office, we have a spreadsheet of properties that are available for sale. Look at that every day, see what's available.
As do we.
Yep.
Thank you, Maria.
There you go. Get it, girl. So I would look at that, pay attention, do what you can, off market there. Talking to sellers when I'm sitting down for listing appointments about what the value is in doing that. Not telling them they should. And when I'm sitting down with sellers, they're like, oh, well, why would I do that? Why would I not do that? Like, tell me more about that. Like you have to set a price that you are happy to sell it and happy to not sell it. Like they have to be, I just set people up so that no matter what they're doing, they're happy. They just get what they want. Yeah, is that helpful?
Any questions online?
There was one from does Robin use Canva or what?
I use Canva for sure. Yep, super easy.
But the cards are,
Canva Pro so that the images are free. We also do a newsletter. We have other touches besides cards, and I do all the
newsletter like
Email.
snail mail or email?
email.
MailChimp or?
MailChimp. And that has 1,200 people, about 1,100? 1,100 people on the newsletter.
What else? What else do you want to make sure we
What
cover?
else do you want to make sure we cover? I don't know. I know me. What do you want to know?
As a woman, on moments where you've gone to like open houses, have there been moments where you felt unsafe, and how did you navigate that?
Yep. So there have been 2 moments where I haven't felt safe. And I always make sure that I am physically between wherever the unsafe person is and the door, and that they never get between me and the door. So physically, I just do this awkward dance with them where I'm like always closer to the door than they are. So there's that. And then there has been 1 or 2 clients who I sat down with for a buyer representation appointment. I always hold those in the office, so there are other people around. And I will never, ever, under any circumstances, take a sign, call, and show a property, ever. Ever. That's like to me, that's like the single craziest thing a person could do with their time, let alone their safety. Like just so bananas. No. If somebody wants to know about it, you can meet me in my office. We're going to talk about your goals. And then I don't even know if that property meets your goals. Just like never doing that. But there was, I sat down with somebody at a buyer rep that I didn't feel comfortable with, but I was in the office and I just didn't offer them the buyer rep paperwork. Like the next step is that you keep shopping for realtors. And once you find somebody that you're going to work with, then that's the next step. didn't work with him. And the number one time actually that I felt in danger was when I fired one of my assistants. He was like 6'4", and when I fired him, he pushed the table and he stood up. He's like, I've never been treated like this. And I was like, oh my God. Like that was one of the scariest times I've ever had, was actually with my assistant. Didn't go well.
Yeah, great question. So as it pertains to mindset, big thinking, accountability, what other advice do you have? I know John talked about that training you did. Any nuggets from there that would be valuable for us, since clearly we weren't invited and we missed it?
Okay, so from a big thinking mindset, I believe that you should get involved in the biggest, craziest conversations you can. So going to family reunion, going to these, like I do everything I can to see like who is doing stuff at a crazy high level, like what, just from an expansion capacity, like what else is possible. And the thing that's really hard for me, because I'm not driven by a big business, I'm driven by a big life. People aren't honest about their lives, right? So when you look on social media, it's like, well, they've got a big life, but like, do they? Right? And so one thing that is a challenge for me is finding people who are living really big, really wild, authentic lives, as an expander for me to like expand my understanding of what's possible. That is one of my biggest challenges. But from a business standpoint, going to family reunion, going to these things, getting in bigger conversations. I have so many fun things from big thinking. We could do a really fun big thinking exercise really quick if you want.
Good.
Okay. It's called Wouldn't It Be Cool? And it goes like this. Somebody says, wouldn't it be cool if fill in the blank? And the response from the whole room is, yeah, that would be cool. You don't have to like put that would be cool, but like, how are we going to do it? Or like, yeah, that would just be cool. Like, just that would be cool. That's it. Okay. Wouldn't it be cool? Go. Biggest, craziest thing you can think of.
Wouldn't it be cool if we could take the summer off?
Yeah. That would be cool. Yeah. Okay. That's it. It's the coolest thing we got. Summer off. Just cool.
Wouldn't it be cool to own a big apartment complex that my property management company owns and oversees, and we just use that as a funnel for clients?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be super cool.
Do you do this with the boys, your kids?
Yeah, but I don't do it as a game. I just do it as my natural response, because Clark, he'll be 8. He's like, Mom, wouldn't it be cool if like there were spaceships and there were people that like were made out of marshmallows and you know they do all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, that would be so cool. I just never say that's not gonna happen. I just say, yeah, that would be cool. What else? What else you got that's awesome? Something crazy banana big.
Wouldn't it be cool to visit every continent before I'm 40?
Yeah.
That would be
That would be cool. Anyway, like this is to me is the exercise in like taking off the limiter and what does it feel? What did it feel like to have all of us just agree? Like that would be so cool. None of us set a limit on your gigantic apartment building.
It felt encouraging, it felt possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can throw anything in that sentence, including spaceships made with marshmallow people, and it would be cool. And to acknowledge and hold that, I think, is a really powerful thing. So anyway, I believe really wholeheartedly in thinking beyond where you are, and then you'll grow into that. So just to kind of put that in a bow, I am living the life that I said, wouldn't it be cool 10 years ago? Right? Like, and that happened in 5-year increments. So if I look at my journals from 5 years ago and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if, and like, I have all these things, like our house is remodeled and we did this travel trailer trip and like, my house is remodeled. I've done the travel trailer trip. Like it is cool. Right? And 5 years before that, I was living the wouldn't it be cools from then. So I just feel like, wouldn't it be cool it? And then you're like, yeah, that would be cool. And then you put it on your 411 and then you do it. And vision board. And like, isn't that cool? Yeah. That,
You know, is it accurate to say a lot of these wouldn't it be cool haven't happened yet and will still will?
totally. I'm all like, there's a vision board and there's lots of things on it. Like, wouldn't it be cool when I don't live in Minnesota anymore? That's like not a if or when. This is where my life and my business are right now. But man, my kids graduate. Why? I'm out west faster than most things around here. Like it will be cool when I live with saguaro cactuses. That will be cool.
Love to know how you set boundaries, especially when you're traveling for a long time with your clients.
Yeah. I don't even beg for forgiveness. I just say I'm doing it.
And then what, though? I mean,
Yeah,
let's be
but,
real.
like,
I am being
Yeah.
real.
I know, but it's like, you've gone through a lot of transitions with
Oh yeah. Yeah.
people on your team.
Okay, look, can we give me a scenario and I will role play it with you. Let's try that because I
Well, I
think-
left my phone in the closet
Uh-huh.
for 2 weeks
okay,
and a client calls.
great. My voicemail is going to say, I'm so happy you called. I'm in Mexico and my phone is in a closet. Call Kelly. Here's her phone number. We have a number of agents on standby to take care of you. And all of my clients before I leave will know this. So if they're under contract with me, they have expectations set that they're going to be safe. This is a random, brand new person that I've never met. I'm going to say, call Kelly. She'll take great care of you. And then Kelly has full permission to do whatever she needs to knock the socks off the person. So if that means that Kelly needs to make a referral and pass that person off to another agent right this moment, because Kelly's not licensed. So if she needs to pass that referral off right away, because that person needs to see a house this weekend, then she has full jurisdiction and my trust to take care of that. And if she farts it all up, then I'm going to come home and say, thank you for dealing with that. It's really messy. I'm going to clean it up. And then I come home and I deal with it. And generally it's fine. What else? What's another scenario?
I'm just wondering your day, like, do you stop talking to clients at 7 o'clock at night? Or do you not do certain things on the weekends? Or, I'm just kind of wondering what your life looks like and how you set those boundaries for yourself.
That's a great
especially
question.
with your kids.
Yep, great question. So buyers want to see a property. I always say, send me 3 or 4 times that work for you to see properties in the next couple days. And then I cherry pick from those what works for my schedule. Or I'll say, I'm sorry, I have an appointment tonight until about 7:30, so I can meet you at 8. And my kids go to bed at 7:30. So I generally don't take I have an appointment from 5 to 7:30, and that's with my kids. And there are times where that bends if there aren't other times in my schedule, or if like I have other commitments with them and doing something else. But I just say I'm booked at that time or I have another appointment, and it's just as valuable. And I also, at the front end, when I sit down with clients, I say things like, just so you know, I eat dinner with my family. And all of my clients respect that about me. And so I'll connect with you after dinner. I just tell people, like, or I'll say, I'm totally going to write up that offer for you. First, I'm going to go home. I'm going to have dinner with my kids. I'm going to tuck them in and kiss them. And then I'll call you. And my clients are like, okay, who's going to say no to that? And if they do you really want them as clients? So I just tell people, I mean, when you're like, yeah, get real. I'm like, I am being real. I actually just say, I'll call you later. No.
Well, and like when you're going to India, I'm assuming you kind of talk to people about that along the way
Totally.
as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hey, just so you know, I'm going to be checking something off my bucket list. I'm going to be in India. Here are the people that are going to be taking care of you. I've handpicked them, trust them. Kelly's still on the boots on the ground. All my clients know Kelly already because Kelly is part of their process from day one. And so Kelly will still be here as a constant. And if there is a absolute banana fire that's such a big emergency, it can't possibly wait. Kelly has like the bat phone. Because I know if Kelly calls me and I'm on vacation, it really matters. It's happened once, maybe.
So we are over time, so we're going to break out of respect for you and your time. My last thought is, have you ever done the, wouldn't it be cool if exercise with your database, or are they aware of that exercise?
So I have led a retreat for my database and we did that exercise. that would be a fun thing to just like put on Instagram or call people with.
Yeah, that's a card right there.
Send it back.
You know, at the end of the year, as you look towards next year, wouldn't it be cool if fill it out? Let me know.
That would be a good one. Can you write that down, Kelly?
Should've written down.
It was already done. Right hand, actual.
It's already in motion. back there.
Yeah, it's already at the printer.
Thank you. This has been enlightening. Did everyone get at least one action item? Please. Thank you. You're amazing. Say hi to your husband.
I have a quick thing to ask of everyone, if you could please use this QR code to sign in, we're gonna be starting to try. And so
Look at that.
combined events. So that should bring you,
So, just a plug in case you have, so next month's event's gonna be at Minnetonka. And we are, interviewing Trey Adams.
Okay, I can put that on my calendar.
And it is, Trey Adams is on the, Trey Adams is the 9th at 11 a.m. Mega agent interview, the 9th at 11 a.m. with Trey. I can't wait for that conversation too.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Welcome.
I need to-
I'm here for, I can be here for a few more minutes if anybody asks questions. I don't need to be abundant. Sure.
I'm up to Big Lake for a meeting, so.
Is your last name spelled Voreis?
Jealous of your drive, Perry.
What?
Jealous of your drive.
I'm gonna go, but, wouldn't it be cool if game the whole way there?
Awesome.
Thank you, Robin.
I'm so sorry. That was terribly rude of me to try to do something